So happy Wednesday, everybody. This video I wanted to share with you guys a question that I've been thinking about a lot recently. And that question is self-confidence a thing I should be building up in my life? And what's more, in this video, I want to talk about why I don't think I should be. That's right, I'm about to argue that self-confidence is not that great. Alright, so the basic line of thought here is self-confidence is the idea that I can do a lot of great things. And that's all wonderful and great. But if I believe that there is a God who is all-knowing, all-loving, and all-powerful, and if God is important to me, then why would I be placing my confidence in myself? Why would I not be placing my confidence in this important God who is all-powerful, all-knowing, and all-loving? And that seems to me to be a pretty watertight argument. All the same, it's a very strange argument to be making because I have spent a lot of my life working on my self-confidence, working on getting myself to believe that I'm capable of great things in my life. And I've seen a lot of fruits in my life from doing that work. Like, for example, this last January, I moved off to Virginia, chasing my dreams. And granted, there were some unexpected turns in that process. Like, for example, all of a sudden in April, I found myself homeless and jobless. But I relied kind of heavily on my self-confidence and pushed through that. I did not want to return home to Idaho, mostly because I wanted to continue chasing my dreams, and returning to Idaho in some ways would have felt like a defeat to me. So instead of returning to Idaho, I continued with my self-confidence drive, and I found a way to make things work, and now I'm in Oklahoma, and Oklahoma has been really great to me. Self-confidence is a large foundation of how I've started this YouTube channel, which I personally think is going really well, thanks to you guys. I mean that I had to believe that I could make a video in the first place before I made my first video. Growing up, I was a socially awkward kid, and I had to begin to believe in myself and my own capabilities to socially integrate into circles of people before I was able to make that leap of faith. So yeah, self-confidence has been an important part of my life and has been a part of my life that has helped me make different accomplishments happen. So why would I turn my back on self-confidence now? The reason I'm beginning to doubt in self-confidence right now is, well, because of that logical couple of steps that I just shared with you. Those logical couple of steps I got from a podcast that I love listening to. It's called Catching Foxes. One of the co-hosts, Gomer, talked about how we don't need self-confidence, we need confidence in God. And the other co-host, Luke, reacted much as I did right here, talking about, well, wait a minute, but self-confidence has been important in my life. It's kind of a big, life-altering question to be turning over in my head. So I thought I would share it with you. When I think of stories of great men of faith that I know of, they depend on God for the things that they do. They talk about how the Eucharist is what gives them strength. There once was a reporter who talked to Mother Teresa and was watching how tenderly she was taking care of a poor man on the streets. And this reporter said to Mother Teresa, you know, I wouldn't do that for $1 million. Mother Teresa turned to him and said, well, neither would I. So what was it that drove Mother Teresa? What was her motivation? What was her strength? When I look at the life of Christ and read through the Gospels, I'm always struck by how often he spends the entire night in prayer. And that's just crazy to me. Like, I cannot imagine doing that in my own life. But this idea of not depending on my own strength, but depending on God's strength, that makes that idea of spending the whole night in prayer much more understandable. Seeing Christ not so much as a man who was very self-confident and also God, but more a man who was very God-confident and also God. One last little parable from my own life. There's one story that I was thinking of today from back when I was in Cub Scouts. In my troop, every year we would have the Pinewood Derby, which was a competition to see who could build the fastest little car out of a block of wood and some wheels. And the Pinewood Derby is usually a time when the Cub Scout and his dad would build a car together. And it was a great competition, and there were different categories of things you could win in. I usually didn't go for the speed thing. I enjoyed more the artistic creativity category that people would just kind of arbitrarily vote on. And I really wanted to win that. This one particular year, I was going to make a rocket ship. But my dad and I got into a little bit of an argument, and so all of a sudden, I had to make my Pinewood Derby car all on my own. And I was, fine with that because I believed that I could make this race car all on my own. So I had a block of wood, and I had a knife, and I started whittling. And very quickly I realized that this was going to take a lot longer than I had expected. For all the self-confidence that I went into my whittling project with, it started to wane after a while as I saw my whittling skills and saw how they compared to my vision of a spaceship Pinewood Derby car. Eventually my dad came and talked to me and he rebuilt the bridge between us. Then we got to work on my Pinewood Derby car together. And instantly I knew that the Pinewood Derby car was going to be a lot better than it was going to be if I had been working on it by myself. Now, I'm not saying self-confidence is a bad thing. I'm sure it would have been a very formative experience to go about the Pinewood Derby all on my own. But having Dad help me really helped a lot and made it a better car. And so I wonder, as wonderful as things can be when we truly believe in ourselves, might they not be a little bit better if, more than that, we trust in the strength of our Heavenly Father? Alright, so there's my 2 cents. Let me know what you think of self-confidence and self-esteem. Hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you have a great week, and I will see you next Wednesday. God bless, and wow. I paid $3 for that joke. I hope that you like it.